I don't wanna give up. I'm gonna have a party and have a really great time. Yeah, yeah, feel the heat. Listen to the music and feel that beat. That's right, we're back here on 31 Days of Dance Revolution. You may see some knee braces, which I probably should have put on earlier than day 4, but it is what it is. They've helped me survive, and you gotta watch out for toes, heels, Achilles, calves. Still gotta worry about the knees. Yeah, aches and pains, but the game's fun. Hey, well, if it weren't 30 frames per second, it would be better, but you know, it is what it is with the older titles. Before we move on to PlayStation 2, I'd just like to give a quick shout out here to big ups to Konami, because I was playing the Dreamcast version, or trying to play the Dreamcast version, but I put this in the Dreamcast and it showed up as a CD, and I was like, meme, panic. And so I'm like, what is wrong with this thing? It's like, oh, hey, dummy, why don't you put the Dreamcast game in the Dreamcast? And lo and behold, it started working, and I played. The pad, on the other hand, kind of sucks, but as you know, we'll get to that eventually. So yeah, of course, me being me, I had to experiment and do work for you. So I put Dance Revolution in the machine, and this works. So if you have the game, Japanese version, you have the soundtrack. It's a beautiful thing. And yep, second remix, like we said, works. Club Append second mix Append Club version Volume 1 and Club version Volume 2 all work. So all 4 of these games can double as both a game and a soundtrack if you don't want to pay extra for the soundtracks. I did mention soundtracks a little bit during the third mix song list. But yeah, so of course I had to attempt it with all the other discs. Actually, I've yet to do that with PS2, so I've got more homework. But second mix, interestingly, and club version do not have the soundtracks on them. They have a track that says that this is a Dreamcast disc, so please put it in a Dreamcast and play it as a game. Fourth mix was also strange. It has a something. I don't think it's a data file, but there is one track. It's not music. It's just silence, but there is something on it. But yeah, speaking of data, everything else shows up as a data disc. Now, I did check out my CDs, and what I have here, because I mentioned listening to some of them when driving, I have DDR Solo 2000, the soundtrack here, and I do have the Extreme soundtrack. You can see the soundtrack on one side and the Non-Stop Mega Mix on the other. And let's see, we got, and yeah, jewel case is a little busted, but that's the one. The Non-Stop Mega Mix on disc 2 is blue, and hopefully you can see some of the artwork there too. And what all is here? So this has an Obi. Again, I don't know if this is an official product or if it's a copy, because at Anime Expo some vendors were legit way back when, and some were a little sketchy looking. But I think I have third mix and fourth mix and Max, as well as Extreme and Solo 2000, but I'm not quite sure. But anyway, yeah, makes for good listening. And you got the whatever soundtrack order and the Non-Stop Mega Mix order, so those are interesting tidbits there. Now on the PlayStation 2, and we are finally getting 60 frames per second. Woot, woot, woot. And this is why I always say, if a Gen 6 game can do 60 frames per second, there's no excuse for any game in Gen 7, Gen 8, or Gen 9 not being able to do 60 frames per second, or even more on the Xbox Series. I think Halo's up to 120, isn't it? But always, they should always prioritize performance over graphics, because at this point, the graphics can't get much better. So, just focus on having the gameplay perform well, and the graphics are going to come naturally in this day and age. But we're starting off with DDR Max. They tried changing it, but they kept Dance Dance Revolution 6 mix there on the bottom. Step Max. It's got the controller, and the goofy handheld controller is also here. I don't know why anyone would ever want to play with that when you can just use a regular PlayStation controller. Although it did kind of suck for solo, but it's got they hype up Ordinary World, My Sweet Darling, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Witch Doctor, True, Yozora no Muko, and Dance Simulation Game. So we got that on the back. And we're moving out of Obi territory. So Obis are for jewel cases, not for PlayStation discs or later. So got the manual and the game there, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. Operations. What? This is in English. Players rule. So again, how to play. A mode, and then game mode. Diet mode, training mode, edit. Records option information, Ryu Kosaka. So there's your new artist for DDR Max. And the first thing we see is a DualShock. Oh, that's hilarious. What does it say? A little note about the analog stick. I think that says it can be used. And then the next page we get the dance pad. So you'll note they're much bigger. There's much more color. Again, how to play. When the arrows hit the stationary arrows, you step on them. That's it. Game modes. Select style. So single versus double. Select difficulty, light, standard, and heavy. So this is where they made the change from basic, another, or basic trick, and maniac to standard, light, and heavy. We don't have beginner mode yet. You'll note that. Select music, and like we said with Fit Mix, it's got the wheel selection there instead of the jukebox style. So, that interface is kept for a while. And how to put edit steps, so create your own step charts. Or, like I said, import missing ones from different versions of the game for the same song. There's a lot of edit stuff on there. And it does take a separate save file, so that is something to consider. And let me say it, Ryu Kosaka from B4U. There we go. And a message from Naoki, DDR sound producer as well. And then they advertise DDR Max 2, which is also billed as 7th mix. And some more Dance Mania. So, yep, that is DDR Max. This thing was fun as hell. I don't know how many arcades I played it in, but I think it showed up in grad school and almost every place after that. But Max was awesome. I think, like I said, I had some fun with Max 2, DDR 7th mix, but wasn't as fun as Max or Extreme for me. But I did end up talking with Mom after she watched the first video. Thank you. And she said that there was a time we went to Buffalo Bill's Casino and they had a DDR machine, and I didn't remember this video, but apparently I was just doing my thing and I drew a crowd of spectators, so go figure that, you know. I'm just having fun doing my thing. There's Max 2, 7th mix. It has over 70 songs. And again, with the Japanese releases, they are going to be true or truer to the arcade release and the American releases. We'll get into that in a few seconds here. So DDR Max 2, Dance Dance Revolution 7th mix. There's the disc. Again, not too much to see there. Pull this out. Contents, wow. And, you know, they really play up the fire theme in this one. Operation system, that's got to be how to play again, or, yep. Players rule, no, that's how to play. Yeah, so controllers and how to play. You got modes, but on a separate page is game mode. Challenge mode, okay, we'll get into that in a second, and all the other good stuff. Tons of edit mode and endless mode. So there's that page. And again, controllers first. Let's never going to there's the dance pad. Never going to not crack me up how the controllers are listed before the dance pads, because why would you buy a DDR game if you're not going to dance on it? I mean, I understand practicing to see this, to adjust to the speed and memorize the step charts, but it's still more of image training than actual practice, which you need a pad for. Again, how to play, the game mode, select style, select difficulty, select options. So really nothing's changed. Options, and Max is really where it started, because the boss song, I guess that's the term for it, but here was Max 300, and, or was it Candy, or were they both boss songs? Anyway, the first boss song reversed the arrow, so it put him at the bottom of the screen. So that's the first major change, and then it sped them up to 1.5 times speed, I believe. And I'm not sure if you started off with a full meter and it only went down from there, but I think those were the three main things. And yeah, so that was a shock. And then I think the second boss song, which was the other of the two I mentioned, actually goes at 3 times speed. But, you know, if you play all of the games with the arrows going up and then suddenly they're reversed, you're bound to fail. And they're natural at the top of the screen. Well, coming from where I was and playing all the games up to it. So, I mean, some of these visible, sudden, stealth, and hidden were options in previous games. You've got mirror, left, right, shuffle, so you can change the steps. Flat, dark, little, solo, so those are the arrow colors. Standard and reverse, that, like I mentioned. What is that? Oh, you can turn freeze arrows on and off. You can also adjust the difficulty within the option select screen. And yeah, the top one, your gauge speed. 1.5 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 8, although I think you'd have to be crazy to change the speed to times 8, because at max 300, if that's really 300 beats per minute, then you're looking at a speed of 2400 beats per minute. So I guess it's good if you want to challenge yourself or if you have the thing memorized, but very bad for sight reading, which I'm big on as sight reading. Challenge mode. So now we introduce Oni mode, which I believe was battery life gauge of 3 bars. So if you miss 4 times, you are dead. You might get 1 bar back at the beginning of the next stage if you're lucky. But it's a fun little challenge. if you're into step attack, which is getting a full combo on the stage. But it's basically just a souped up version of the non-stop mega mixes you'll get in the previous games. Diet mode, training mode, edit mode. Nothing has changed here from whenever they were conceived or their inception. Let's see, outside manager. Although I think you can import data or export data to or from the arcade, so that could be a good thing. Options, records, information, endless mode, music program. That I'm not so sure about. But it looks to me like it's just a set of records, so there they are. And in the arcade we got DDR Extreme and more Dance Mania with a total sales of 1,100 mon. So is that 11 million albums at that point? So interesting stuff. But yeah, that was Max 2. And next up we have DDR Extreme. And I used to think 5th Mix was good in the arcades, but Extreme came along and blew that out of the water. And that might be the best soundtrack of all time. The arcade version. Not that the home version is any slouch. Step Kyokugen. There was over 110 songs. And this is the birth of Dance Dance Revolution. Or the ultimate birth? The strongest birth. Yeah, ultimate birth of Dance Dance Revolution. Yep, you got beginner mode. There's lesson mode now. And it's green, so my favorite color. How are you gonna go wrong with that? You got the manual and the disc. And again, this came out and I was busting DDR all over Southern California. That's pretty much the same. Controllers the same amusement. The dance pad, how to play, modes, game modes, but challenge mode, diet mode, lesson mode, training mode, edit mode, edit mode, edit mode, edit mode, options, records, information, endless mode, more Dance Mania, and yeah, but no. Even though this is quick, the game is not freaking amazing. So they had it near UCR, where, like you said, Greenwood was, in the anime club. Played the crap out of that. We said $10 Tuesdays at Castle Park, and I saw some jokers, because Bag, and yes, the two 10 Feet song that I have beaten are both on Extreme. I beat Sakura. Where did we go? We traveled around to some arcades looking for the best games and DDR time and stuff like that. And the one place we went to, I don't know why, but I was wearing sandals playing Dance Dance Revolution, and it's crazy. But I think that lower weight than regular high tops is what enabled me to actually beat the song. So I beat Sakura, which is 10 feet. Although the real hardcore players will claim that it's not 10 feet. Go figure that. And then I beat Bag on this version here. But that's my thing about changing arrow speeds, because the difficulty of Bag, it's a bagpipe song, so it's really slow. I think like 60 beats per minute or something. And it sort of sounds and feels like a jig when you're, think Lord of the Flies, sort of stuff like that, when you're following the step charts. But if you increase the speed to more than its one-time speed, then there's absolutely no point to the difficulty of the step chart. The difficulty lies with the flow of arrows looking like this, and you have to be able to go in time with the beat and the bagpipes and everything. So that's why sometimes I think changing the speed is actually cheating and hurts the song. But I got my C or D passing grade with the pad. And yep, so that was bag and the only two 10 fitters I've ever beaten. And I got so close, so many attempts with max 300 on this game. So close, but which I can actually full combo on the controller, go figure that. But anyway, that was Extreme, freaking amazing game. If I had a dance cabinet, Extreme would be at least the top two choices, if not number one straight up. So that's Dance Dance Revolution Extreme. And then there was there was a break. I don't think Konami was sure if they wanted to release more games in the arcade or not. So we ended up getting, or Japan ended up getting, Dance Dance Revolution Party Collection. And remember, at this time, they're still releasing about 2 games a year, or pretty close to it. You got it's full of popular songs. And you can have a dance party at home. And it also has lesson mode for beginners. But yeah, beginners, everything here was 1 to, I guess max period is 3 feet. But everything is extremely easy. For me, it's extremely boring, but probably helpful to save my feet and my knees and longevity for this month. But yeah, so I've been playing almost entirely on basic so far, with a few tricks slash standard songs here and there. But yeah, so it continues lesson mode, beginner mode, and you can. It's like aerobics, so you can diet. So it says there, and it also is the first one. No, it's not. Extreme, you'll notice, we got Zero for all ages. This is the first one with the age rating system here. And this also has for all ages there. Which caught on just a few years later than the US with the Bloody Rage and Mortal Kombat, all that good stuff. So there's the disc and the cover of the manual for Party Collection. And anything different? Players rule, operation system, mode, you know, game, non-stop, challenge, order, course, so that's course edit, I guess, diet mode, lesson mode, training, edit mode, options, records, information, endless mode. Whoa, how to play is first, look at that, boom. Wait for it, okay, controller or dance pad. Dance pad! They got it right! Okay, now we're talking. So it took them, how many games? I don't know how many games at this point. But then, yes, you can still use controllers, but it's in the proper order, at least according to me. Then it goes, it's an overview of the modes. Okay, so that's the game mode. And then, well, this is all game mode. Select your style, character, difficulty, music, select options. Okay, so yeah, exactly the same as the rest of the PS2 collection. Non-stop challenge mode, order course, diet mode, lesson mode, training mode. I guess it's more colorful than Extreme was, so that's good. Edit mode. And yes, you definitely want to edit using the controller and not the dance pad. That would be insane. I don't even know how it would work. And you do use all the buttons there, so that's also a thing. Bunch of edit mode information. A lot of edit mode information. Okay, and our new Dance Mania thing, as well as how to take care of a PS2 disc or memory card storage. So that was Party Collection. It was pretty cool. It was a nice follow-up to Extreme, I thought. You'll see something about this and the dance pads in a few days here. But you know, pretty good follow-up. Then, at game night, we're going to have some fun. And we are going to pop in the US version of DDR Max Dance Dance Revolution. And wow, there's some still stuff on the back still here, so maybe we have to take it out of the bag. I mean, warning, keep away from small children. The thin film may cling to nose and mouth and prevent breathing. This bag is not a toy. Thank you for choosing certified refurbished. Revolutionary to the max. That's how it sounds in the game. DDR Max when you put in a coin. Straight from the arcades. DDR Max Dance Dance Revolution debuts on the PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system. Debuts for the US version. Okay. So there's over 65 songs spanning 100 plus minutes of music. It's got the controller there, featuring dance hits by Darude, Aurora, is that J516, Real to Real. So you can compare that one with the Japanese version. Of course, they got the dancer there and the dance pad, just a plain logo on that one. And then the back, boom. So Konami's placement. This one also has the rated E for everyone already on it. There's the disc and the manual there. But yeah, I don't know why they seem to love this. This is thick too. And this is some quality stock paper here. Getting started using the controller, basic game controls using the DDR controller. How to play, starting the game mode, Oni mode challenge. Okay, so yeah, and I think this is the true arcade port. This one has some great exclusives for the US market, but because they were still behind at that point, this sort of took some of the songs from the older games, like club version, like fifth mix, and I wouldn't say it's a better soundtrack, but it's certainly different. Both are good. I'm not gonna complain yet, but later down the line that does become a problem. We've got, where were we? Workout mode, lesson mode, training mode, edit mode, records option, information, dancing tips, and beginner's guide. Oh, so those have been missing from the Japanese versions. Right now, selected artist profiles, credits, music credits, customer support. So it's like they went back to the earlier PlayStation releases and got some of the information that they sort of dropped in Japan and fleshed it out. But controller is second after how to use the PS2. There's the dance pad. How to play. Okay, and that is the background for Exotic Ethnic there. Great song. I think that's on both versions. So yeah, the Konami originals, again, they took some from the arcade, took some from Fifth Mix and Club Mix, Game Select, Mode Select, Level Select. Song Jukebox is exactly the same, so that's good. Game mode and mode challenges, do not bend the pages, well, too late, I guess. Edit mode, yada yada. Sequence menu, select button, okay. They go on for days for the edit mode, good lord. Options, wow. Okay, dancing tips and beginner's guide. Let's see, you are not penalized for hitting incorrect dance steps, that is true. You are only penalized for not hitting the correct dance steps. So, if you need to reposition yourself, that's a good tip. Avoid returning to the center while playing. Learn to move around the entire DDR controller and utilize both feet when possible. Exactly. To execute certain dance patterns is sometimes easier to pivot your body and face different directions rather than always looking forward at the screen. Exactly. Practice, practice, practice. You might get discouraged if you fail, but eventually you will succeed. There are hidden songs that can be unlocked while playing the game. Hidden songs. Again, this is pre-DLC. and yeah, pre-internet, so everything was on disc. It was excellent. Pay attention to the information, I would say, section to see if any songs have been unlocked, and Oni mode may give you a sneak peek at hidden songs. Don't forget the lesson and training modes. Okay. Remember to use difficulty monitors such as little or shuffle so that songs at higher difficulties become easier to learn or more fun to play. Because I think the step charts at this point are much better than they were for a lot of the PlayStation games. Woof. If you have trouble passing certain songs, you can create your own dance steps in Edit, and then you can enjoy every song in DDR Max. Is that? Well, I guess that's more a beginner guide than a dance tip. Remember to play DDR in the arcade to gain experience playing both versions of the game. They want your money. And in some cases, increasing the speed of the arrows will make certain songs easier to play. Bag on Extreme. And improve your timing skills, as will 60 frames per second. And then it goes through to talk about that's Scotty D. He's one of the song artists here. Sota Systems. DJ Taka, okay. LED, yeah. Who is apparently Toshiyuki Kabuta. And Naoki Maeda, yep. Famous in DDR circles. Konami circles. You got Caramel S. Usa Asami. And then credits. What did we say? Music credits. So we got Celebrate, Dark Black Forest, Gentle Stress. I'd like to move it. Let's think it over. Ordinary World, My Generation. My Generation was a 5th mix song. Rhythm and Police, KOG G3 mix was a 5th mix song. Sandstorm by Darude, and that's going to be so fun. If I get to play one song, that's it. And it's going to be awesome. Customer support, and okay, also on the large stock paper, we got the, whatchamacallit, product registration card. And on the back, we've got the original DDR and Konamics. Well, US DDR and Konamics. But it doesn't say anything about Disney Mix. So, what's up with that? Anyway, so that is Japanese Max compared with US Max. And at this point, because they're playing catch-up, Max 2 was even in the US was even further behind than Max was. And by the time they got to Extreme, so they were so far behind this that it sort of felt like DDR Max 3 for me. And they ended up doing an Extreme 2, which felt more like Extreme. Because, you know, of course they had to make some releases there as well. But yeah, so again, Japan is very true to the arcades. And the US was about a version behind because they had so much stuff prior. But yeah, that's why this is Extreme, and the US Extreme is not, in my opinion. Anyway, enough of that rant. So looking forward to playing those. And then, next up is DDR Festival Dance Dance Revolution. So again, like we said, there aren't any arcade releases at this point, at least not that I'm aware of. This is the first one. You'll see the thing down there. It says iToy, and a little thing on the spine there. You'll also note the color of the US versions and lack of color in the Japanese version. And then, was that the B4U duo there, or is that somebody else? But they highlight some of the music and the iToy feature. And yeah, again, like I said, there's no arcade release to follow up on. And this one was great because it took a lot of the songs that were being released for home consoles in the States, mostly Ultra Mix for the Xbox, and they put most of those songs on here. So you have these step charts, which are really good, and you have the Xbox step charts, which are really good, and we'll talk about soon enough. And using edit mode, you can edit in both sets of steps and have an awesome version. Consider one Oni steps or True Maniac or what have you. So that was really fun in the early life here in Japan. We got the disc here and the manual there. So, that stuff needs to go with Max. But let's see. Whoa. Well, they've got a whole bunch of katakana there, so it just says modes. Again, how to play, but okay, it's across. Well, not how to play. They start off with some warnings and precautions, and then they tell you how to play on the next page. And there's the dance pad. Boom. And let's see here, controllers. And what is it? Oh, iToy. So they also say that you need some distance between yourself and the TV so that iToy can function properly. I would assume it's 6 feet. I guess you can use it in party mode. And a list of modes, and there's beginner mode, game mode, which looks different to me. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember the interface for this song, which was weird. Because, I mean, I'd rather play the songs and get to the music. But if you don't have a good interface, then that's difficult to do. Lesson mode, mission mode. Why were there missions? Was that how you unlock stuff? In later games, I know it is. Maybe that was just for fun. Training mode, edit mode. Again, boom, a whole bunch of controller functions. So yeah, you definitely need that to edit. You cannot edit with the dance pad alone. Edit mode, pages and pages and pages. Oh, it's pretty easy to figure out through trial and error, honestly. I mean, I did not read that, and I put the step charts in, so there is that. Or did I have experience from the US versions? Probably that. B4U and Kiseki. Are those Kiseki? The two ladies that were on the back cover? Endless mode. So they got that, and then nothing on the back here but Konami's information. So yeah, I thought Festival was an amazing follow-up to Party Collection. And then I wasn't expecting much of anything else, but we ended up getting Dance Dance Revolution Strike. Odd name for it. I guess you're striking the arrows, but become a dance master and dance simulation. Font gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I thank them for that ahead of time. But yeah, back doesn't give you too much more information than you already know, unless you're a total noob in EWB. There's the Strike disc and the Strike manual cover. And table of contents is standard, dance pad is standard, controller is standard, starting the game, dancing, more dancing. And right, at some point, it might have been during Oni mode when they introduced Marvelous steps, but they're probably because of the added frames per second. Okay, but yeah, if you hit it within whatever frames per second they require, I'm not sure what that is, you can get a Marvelous. It says perfect, good, no, great, good, boo, and miss. And anything good or higher, of course, you will not be penalized for. Anything lower, and you do lose bar, which is a massive drop on the first, the Gen 1 games. Like, it was insane how much I was struggling from missing just one arrow. And I mean, I guess the dance pads needed a little bit of work too. But, and I was out of practice. But still, a quarter of your life when you miss one, and then it takes like 50 steps to get back up to where you were. It's crazy. Dance modes, free play mode. Got some song lists, and yeah, one of these is when they started adding videos to the system. Or maybe that's only if you have the hard disk. I'm not sure, because they also started with videos on the Xbox versions. Maybe it was Max. US Max, I think, had the first videos, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, so you know, the games are starting to improve. Advanced mode, I'm not sure what that is. Lesson mode and training mode, boom. But yeah, we have definitely, once we hit extreme, we have definitely hit peak DDR and edit mode, bunch of stuff. If you're curious to what that looks like, you can pause and enlarge that, I guess. Yep, edit. Records and options, shop, and my room. So yeah, I think you're playing the mission mode or whatever it's called to get points, and the points buy the songs. Is that Dance Master mode maybe? Or okay, because there's a shop and my room, so I think you can pick up some characters too, as well as new songs. And in the back they're advertising Pop and Music Iroha, Guitar Freaks V, and Drum Mania V. Yes, just want a vest. So I guess they were saying that's the best version, but with a V of the game. Some Dance Mania stuff here. And on the back is Konami Net DX. So I guess you're, well, they didn't have a QR code there, but yep. So that was Strike. And then they did actually release Supernova in the arcades. So the arcades were not done, but we got DDR Supernova here. And if I recall correctly, one of these is where it started getting really funky to unlock the music, and I wasn't very happy about it, and I didn't particularly care for the song lists as much. So it'll be nice to sort of get revenge on those as we finish up the PlayStation 2 block. Not quite sure if there's anything different from the normal, but you know, that's how it goes. So Stellar Master Mode, right? So it's kind of like a solar system or universe thing, and you beat some songs, or you beat some missions, or both. I mean, I don't even remember, it was so long ago. So you do that, and you get points, I think, to unlock the songs. And honestly, it was kind of a pain in the ass. But, you know, it is what it is. And then here, I think they actually started making use of iToy. Because if you look at this picture, you have a hand to the left and a hand to the right. So you can wave those up in time with the beat, way before Dance Central or whatever. And it shows you the iToy there, which you'll need for that mode. In fact, do I have a regular iToy? I know I have a PS3 iToy. If that's compatible, I might plug it in and just check that out for the content. Advanced mode, training mode, edit mode, you know. Like I said, I've already talked about it 7 times before. record, and option, and shop. So yeah, there's a character right there you can see for purchase, so that's alright, I guess. And introduction to characters. Okay, and then this has been missing for a long time. We got Afro, Emmy, Rage, Jenny, Babylon, Robo Zucchine, Gus, Pix, and Ruby. I forgot to mention one of the ones I did like in third mix, because if you hit down it changed the characters apparently, which I forgot to show on camera or forgot about. But yeah, Dread Snake showed up, and the other version of the robot showed up. Wait, his name is actually not there. Robo Zucchine is there, but and then we got the Supernova soundtrack, Terra, first album, Revolution, B4U second album, B4U 2, and Sky Girls opening theme, Baby's Tears, Kosaka Ryu. So some soundtracks and stuff you can buy. It's pretty cool artwork there, and then Konami on the back cover. So that is Supernova. Again, probably not my favorite game on the PlayStation 2, but you know, it was alright in the arcades, and you can select some of the songs now if you go. There's also Dance Dance Revolution Supernova 2, which was also an arcade release, and wow, that's a lot of text on the back there. Whoa! Jumpy disc. Uh-oh. Thankfully no damage there. Supernova 2. Make sure they're locked in. And, you know, you also got to watch for shipping, for stuff like that too, because if it jumps out, it's not good. Oh, and they got an entire rating system explanation there. A, B, C, D, Z. Ah, okay, okay. Because I just noticed that on Supernova here it changed to A from the Zero All Ages. So this is the, and it's on the spine too, this is the one they're still using today, or at least the letters are. The ages may have changed slightly, but it also has the list of the icons for romance or sexual themes or alcohol use, guns, violence, all sorts of drugs, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And you gotta go to DDR Supernova too for that. Hey, anything interesting here? Not really. Again, I don't really remember much of the song, or the song list, yeah, or the game itself. iToy mode, again, nothing's changed from Supernova. Hypermaster mode, not quite sure. I'll check these out and hopefully get back to you. Oh wow, but we got that project, no, what is it? Yeah, survey or something, and Supernova Super Dream Campaign, whatever the heck that means. And okay, advanced mode, training mode, edit mode for days. But yeah, it will be very fun. Supernova 2 in the arcade. So maybe they're released around the same time, and they've also got the soundtrack and the Bimani 10th anniversary. So this can't be 2008 then, can it? Because that was 1998. It must be. But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, it'll be fun to pop these guys in and see if they were as bad as I sort of don't remember them, or if they're actually better than I thought. Also, quick look at my shirt. It's a warning, dance moves loading. So if I'm wearing this, you know some DDR stuff is about to go down. And finally, Dance Dance Revolution X. If you have a US PS2, they actually go on to X2, but we'll talk about that in the next video. Well, we got Dance Dance Revolution X, the final PS2 release here in Japan, the final arcade release, well, not the final arcade release, but yeah, the final home version release here in Japan. Like I said, they did release X2 and X3 after that in the arcades. But I don't remember much of this at all. I think at this point I was probably playing a bunch of Guild Wars and less interested in console gaming for about a year or two. Probably because I didn't have a PS5 at the time. PS5. Oh, of course I had a PS5 back then. No, a PS3 at the time because I thought they were too expensive and there really wasn't anything I wanted to play either. Story Master mode, so wow, what? Did I even play this? I mean, look, it says episodes and kind of looks like it actually has a map there of some country, presumably Japan, but I don't want to be too sure about that. Workout mode, training mode, there's the GameSoft Times arcade campaign from January 29th, 2009 to March 1st. Yeah, March 1st. So you could have gotten some information there. Possibly carried memory cards around. I don't know why I covered up the code. I'm sure it's long did. Edit mode. Wow, I really don't remember this at all. I probably played it once or twice in what's it called? In all play mode or free mode or whatever it is, so I could just get an idea of the soundtrack. So yeah, I really need to get back to this and Supernova 2 and Supernova. See if they're as bad as I remember or better than I remember, whatnot. Really looking forward to Festival. See some of the Xbox songs here with a Japanese twist on the step charts. But most of all, yeah, and we're going to be playing DDR Extreme. Again, I'm going to see if it still has the nostalgia, still has the best soundtrack for me. I can also play it on that, of course. But yeah, Extreme. Really looking forward to playing these games on my PS2. Let me know what your favorite PS2 DDR games are. Your favorite song lists, favorite songs, period, in the comments. But yeah, if you stuck on for me for as long as this video probably is. I know the PlayStation games was a bit long too. But thank you for watching. And until next time, keep dancing.